the point that I'm about to make is really kind of apropos of nothing. It doesn't really come out of any of my recent videos. None of them really led me to this question. And moreover, I know this is something that a point that I have made before, but it seems like when I've made this point before, it's only been as part of a larger, when I'm going after describing some larger or more significant phenomenon, and this thing is just a segment of it, what I'm about to say. So if you've heard me say this before, and you want to complain that I'm being redundant, then I guess you're right. But my explanation is I want to say it as a standalone, because I think this is a really important point, and it concerns modern feminism. Now, y'all know, if you watch this channel, if you're familiar with me and with my take on things, y'all know that what I believe about all ideologies that are presented to us as normative, as ideologies that should be normative, things that we ought to believe, what they all have in common, what their commonality is. I've made this point before, but I want to really emphasize it now by asking this question, and then I guess I'll answer my own question, because I have my own answer to this question. And the question that I have concerns the issue of feminism, modern feminism. So, what one would think, what one would think if one didn't know anything about the world and didn't hear what they're saying in the media, didn't hear what all the talking heads are saying, didn't hear from Susan Wojcicki, or however you say her name, I don't really care. If I mispronounce her name, good, and other such people. What one would think if one were told about feminism is that one would think that feminists would say, okay, here's what feminism is all about. Feminism is all about being the freedom to be able to make the choices to live the life that you want to live. So, as a corollary from that, there's no pressure. There should be no pressure on women to live a particular kind of life or to embrace a particular type of lifestyle. So if you are a woman who finds herself to be traditionalist-minded, and you find that you will find happiness if you marry young and embrace the role of homemaker and have as many children as you can, and that's what femininity means to you, then do it. Don't let anybody tell you not to. That's you go, girl. To coin a phrase. If that's what you want, go for it, right? But they would also say, one would think, that if a woman wants to be a working girl, wants to eschew family life, or at least put it off until later, and wants to get a job and find the satisfaction in her life from her occupation, for which she gets paid for doing, as opposed to from staying at home and being a mother, then again, you go, girl, right? No problem. You do you, right? If you want to be a homemaker and raise a ton of children and wear dresses all the time in a tradition and live a traditionally feminine life, that's fine. But if you want to be a someone who finds the meaning to her life in the workforce, in the occupation that she embraces, then that's fine too. So one would think that would be the case if feminism were really about addressing women's concerns, if feminism were really about helping women to be happy, right? You would think that they would say, well, no woman should feel pressured to have to be anything. No woman should be made to feel guilty if she prefers to live a kind of life that others, it may not be in accord with the kind of life that others have in mind for her, right? But it's her choice, it's her life, and that's what feminism should be all about, right? Living your life, living the life that you want to live, whether it's taking the traditional route or taking the modern route. Okay, but that's not what modern feminism teaches, is it? I don't even think I don't need to put too fine a point on it, do I? Modern feminism tells women, you all had better get into the STEM fields. You all had better get into, the workforce is dominated by men. You needed to get in there and make things more equal. We'll only have equality if you women out there do what we tell you and become a part of the workforce and live your lives in the way that we think is genuinely fulfilling to women. If you're somebody who chooses to stay at home and be and embrace motherhood and traditional femininity, then you are a traitor to your sex, and you are someone who has fallen under the sway of the patriarchy, and we are going to mock and belittle you. And in truth, that's what modern feminism is. This is what young women are taught today. It's the latter, not the former. The former would be, I would think, much more in accord with, what we would think feminism would be if feminism is all about, self-fulfillment. If it's all about doing what makes you happy. But the first scenario is not what we hear from the feminist mouthpieces. It's not what we get from all of the pretty much all of this opinion shaping sources out there. That's not the image of feminism that they put forth. What they put forth is have the approach to life that we want you to have, or else we will shame you and call you retrograde and call you traitors to the great cause of feminism. All right. So why is that? Well, you know my answer. My answer is, and this again is the what breaks the code. Once you see everything in this way, it breaks the code. It helps you to resolve the seeming contradictions that are out there. Once you understand, the seeming contradictions, meaning, like for instance that feminism is promoted at the same time that transgenderism is promoted, which results often in the denigration or the demoting of biological women, and so forth. You would think that it would have to be one or the other, but no. Today we are all told we should be feminists, and we also should be pro-transgenderism, and the so-called TERFs, the I can't remember what it stands for right now, but the I know radical feminist is the RF part, the belief that that trans women are not biological women. They're not women in the same way that biological women are women. Common sense, but common sense isn't, especially today. So what's the reason behind it all? Well, the reason why they promote this shaming type of feminism, this directive type of feminism, instead of a "you go girl, do what makes you happy" type of feminism that I was giving an example of. The reason why they do that is let's all say it together: eugenics, depopulation. If we have women out there deciding to marry young and have a lot of children, then we're not depopulating the planet, are we? We're not reducing the population, are we? And that's what they want. They meaning those who are in charge. And so that's why we have this seeming contradiction where, it seems to me what feminism should be about. Of course, who am I to say? I'm a man, a cis man to boot. But the really ironic thing is, I don't find myself so substantially in any kind of disagreement with the type of feminism that I proposed initially, even though I'm definitely not someone who would call himself pro-feminist. But if feminism were different, if feminism were really just about letting women choose the kind of life that they want and not shaming them regardless of the choices that they make, whether they're more traditional choices or more modern choices, I don't see how I really differ from that perspective at all. I don't think anyone should be forced into a life that doesn't suit them. Okay. I don't think every woman should embrace traditional motherhood necessarily. I just don't. Different strokes for different folks, right? Yeah, I don't know. I do think that men and women are different. Women derive. I would say there's a biological component for the reason why women derive pleasure or joy or contentment from the idea of motherhood, in the way that men really don't necessarily from fatherhood. It's much more of a learned thing in the case of men. But I would still say, if that's not you, if you've got no maternal instinct, if you want to work a job, and that's what floats your boat, then do it. But that's not the kind of feminism that we have. And so ironically, if that were the kind of feminism that we had, then a far right extremist, so-called, like me, would not find himself at odds with feminism at all. But it's only the component of feminism that ultimately promotes, I believe, it promotes another. It's there not for its own sake, but to promote something else, and that is depopulation. And that's what causes us to be told to twist ourselves in pretzels and support feminism. Insofar as it's a type of feminism that's been approved of. And of course, that type of feminism is also pro-abortion, of course. Depopulation, again, I don't want to put too fine a point on it. I don't want to be too annoyingly repetitive here. But I do think it's useful. If someone can prove me wrong, please do so. But that's the commonality I see with all modern ideologies, with everything that's out there, including transgenders. And that's, if someone wants to change their gender, and call themselves something different than how they were born. That person is very much less likely to have any children. If that person was born a man, he would have no children. If that person was born a woman and became a man, I guess there's still a chance that she could bear children, but it probably wouldn't be a thing that she would be inclined to do because she's become a man. And so again, it all comes down to depopulation and eugenics too, but mostly depopulation. They want us breeding less. And I use the word breed because they see us as essentially cattle. They see us as animals. So, if I'm wrong here, tell me how I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, then tell me why the type of feminism that is much more freedom-oriented, that is much more, that I think most women, would appreciate more, because it wouldn't be judgy of them if they were inclined one way or another. But instead, we've got the judgy type of feminism that's being promoted. Tell me why that's in existence now, rather than the type of feminism that I discussed at the beginning of this video. Thanks for watching. I look forward to your comments if you have them.